Okay, so good day, guys. This is a video lecture for Unit 2, Biological Development. So there are 4 lessons that are incorporated in this unit, and we will be discussing each of the lessons. And um, towards the end of the unit, I will be giving you a task which you will be doing individually. So, Um, to some other sections, I have started discussing this topic, but for the sake of having a complete um, uh, discourse, no, particularly on biological development, I am rediscussing it through a video lecture. Okay, so as I mentioned, there are 4 lessons that are incorporated in this unit. Now, as for our unit objectives, I have included in here 4. You might wish to just simply read what's posted on screen, but for the benefit of the group, in this particular unit, we will be looking into prenatal development. So, in particular, we will underscore the different milestones, no, that an unborn undergoes. So, before I have forwarded a link of a video, no, a documentary on the miracle of life. No, this video actually would um, show what takes place, no, what had taken place during the prenatal stage in terms of the different physical developments from the moment of fertilization up to birth or up to postnatal. Okay, so this we will go through once more. And then we will also be looking into the different uh, physical I mean the normal sequence, no, so in terms of um physical and motor development, no, what's the typical development, and we will also be looking into the exceptional cases, no, because you see, as future educators, you might be encountering, or you might encounter later on in your classrooms, some students with physical impairments, no? So since our topic has to do with physical development, I have to make it clear starting from the very start that not all of us would have a normal pattern of physical development. There will always be exceptional cases. So what about cases of physical disabilities and sensory impairments? So those are the exceptional cases of development which we will be discussing in a while. And then, of course, we will just zero in on the stages of childhood and adolescence, since that's the very focus of our um, course. Okay. But in this particular unit, we would be starting it from where we all started. That's during prenatal stage. Okay. Part of what we will be discussing also in this unit would be the brain development. So neuroplasticity and brain development. And towards the end of the discussion or of the lecture, we will be looking into 2 theories, no? So the maturational development theory of Jessel and ecological systems theory of Bronfenbrenner in relation to physical and motor development. Okay, so moving further, I think I had given you this as an assignment to which you will be interviewing your mothers specifically. No, asking them of their experiences and of their observations when they were pregnant of you. So at the time of their pregnancy, what were their experiences and what were their observations in terms of your growth inside their womb. So perhaps if I would be asking you of your responses or of your outputs, some of you might be sharing about how your mothers have changed physically. No, perhaps they used to be um, thin, no? Baka payat sila dati, pero dahil nung pinagbuntis nila kayo, maaring nag-gain sila ng weight, tumaba sila. May mga observations sila in terms of their mood, no? Kasi it could also have implications. Pregnancy could also have implications to your emotions or to the emotions of the pregnant mother. So, these are all just but normal as effect of hormonal changes. Okay, so perhaps some of you might also be talking about the morning sickness. They are wanting of a special food, no? Yung paglilihi, yung proseso ng paglilihi. Some of you might also be sharing about, nung nagbuntis ang nanay ko ma'am, na-share niya na medyo hindi bumababa ang BP niya. So cases of pre-eclampsia or eclampsia, no, to which the mother, the pregnant mother experiences an elevation of the blood pressure, no, and which actually puts at risk, no, the unborn, no, because you see um, this could decrease the heartbeat of the baby and which could cause fetal death, no. So I hope that with this task you were able to reflect and realize, no, how your parents have, or especially your mothers, have taken good care of you when you were still inside their womb, and even growing up, reaching this stage, no. I hope you were also um, able to realize, no, or perhaps I hope that the task could somehow made you appreciate your mothers, and most probably they are so deserving of your respect at the same time of your gratitude. Okay, so we move on to lesson one. Lesson one would be talking about the biological beginnings. In here we will just be zeroing in on the prenatal stage, and if you recall, the prenatal period, of course, would occur within that 9-month period, which starts from fertilization. So from the moment the sperm cell fertilizes the egg cell, that is where life begins. So life begins in the process of fertilization. Normally, the female ovary releases a mature egg cell, and this mature egg cell stays at the fallopian tube. So itong binabanggit ko ay actually the explanation of the video. I know that in the video you were able to watch this, but I just wanted you to go back onto it, no, and perhaps understand, no, what's happening. So how come that I was formed? No, of course, your parents, the sex cells of the parents, of our parents, no, your mother, of course, through her egg cell, and your father through her through his sperm cell, no, the union of this and the fertilization of of the sperm cell of the egg cell had led to your formation as a human individual. And the 9 months that your mothers have to bear and have to go through would speak of prenatal development. Okay? Now, the prenatal stage consists of three periods or phases. So you have the period of the zygote, the embryonic period, and the fetal period. So the zygotic period starts from fertilization up to 2 weeks. Okay? So from the moment the sperm cell fertilizes the egg cell, yung nangyayari guys, yung mechanism is the mature egg cell stays at the fallopian tube and it waits until a sperm cell fertilizes it. So of course, when there is coitus, no, the sperm cell swims upward, would go to the fallopian tube and would meet the egg cell. You know what? The egg cell appears to have a natural mechanism na kapag na-penetrate na ng outer membrane niya, yung sperm cell, it hardens and the tail of the sperm cell breaks with its head. No? So, there is literally a union of two sex cells. And this yield to a single cell, a unicellular called zygote. So, yung nabuo doon sa um, pagkakaisa ng ah, sex cells ng parents natin, ang tawag dun ay zygote. That's why the first period in the prenatal stage is the zygotic period. Okay? Or the period of the zygote. The zygote is that the unicellular or the single cell formed formed by the fertilization of the sperm cell to the egg cell. Okay? And then from 2 weeks to 2 months, that's the period of the embryo. Okay? Among the three periods of the prenatal stage, it's the period of the embryo which appears to be critical in the development of the fetus or in the prenatal stage. No? Why? Because what happens is when there is a zygote that is formed in the fallopian tube, hindi mag-stay yung zygote doon. Actually, magta-travel siya, bababa siya para mag-implant siya sa uterine wall. Okay? So, habang bumababa yung zygote, it undergoes cell division. So, the cells that are divided would compose of the different systems and organs of the body. Now, during embryonic stage, the critical or the major organs of the body, are formed. So, perhaps we look into this particular slide. So, the major organs and other anatomical structures take shape, no? And it is for this reason why the embryonic period is most critical, no, compared to the other periods, because possibilities are it may lead to birth defects or it may eventually induce the removal of the embryo, no, causing of course what abortion on the part of the developed embryo. Okay? Now, from second month to ninth month, no, up to postnatal, this is the period of the fetus or the fetal period. Okay? So from there, the other organs and systems actually would rapidly grow and even begin to function. You might have noticed in the video which I've sent that even inside the womb of the mother, some of the organs are already functioning. No? So the eye, for instance, the unborn could in fact uh, open or would close his eye inside the womb. And even in terms of other parts of the body like the mouth, the hands, no? Um, you might even could see some documentaries where the newly born or where the unborn could even thumbsuck inside the womb, no? So those are very possible scenarios because inside the womb parang nasa nakaano sila, naka-suspend ang unborn. Parang freely moving siya, no? Nakabalot siya and parang naka-suspend siya of which especially if the baby of course is uh, kahit pa nga malaki no, very very flexible in a way na magkakasya pa rin siya doon sa womb ng nanay. Okay? So, as to factors, are there factors that could hamper the growth of the fetus inside the womb? No, of course, the answer is yes. But before we move on to that, we also have to understand some concepts which are in relation to prenatal development. So we have blastocyst. What is blastocyst? You know, during um zygotic period, once the zygote goes down or would travel from the fallopian tube to the uterus, it undergoes cell division. So when the fertilized egg begins to divide, no, the ball of cells that are formed is called blastocyst. Okay? Then pagdating niya sa baba sa uterus, mag-implant siya sa uterine wall, that marks the beginning of the embryonic stage. Hindi na siya zygote, kundi ang tawag sa kanya na ay embryo. Implantation is the process by which the blastocyst would burrow or implant itself to the uterine wall. Okay, that's implantation. And inside the womb, the unborn receives nourishment through the umbilical cord, which is attached to the placenta. Okay? So, this actually comes out with the baby during delivery. Okay? So, it provides for respiration and nourishment of the unborn and even elimination of metabolic wastes. Now, going back to my question a while ago as to whether or not there are factors that may impair or may impede the development of the unborn. The answer there is yes, there are. And what are these factors or what generally how do you call this? No, so we call actually these factors, uh, be it substances or be it uh, experiences or stressors, no, which could threaten the growth of the unborn. That's called teratogens. Okay, so what are teratogens? No, these refer to any disease, drugs, or other environmental agent that can harm a developing embryo or fetus by causing physical deformities, severely retarded growth, blindness, brain damage, or even death. No? So the lifestyle, for example, of the mother who is pregnant may actually be a factor or may be a source of teratogens. Like when the pregnant mother is used of smoking or the nicotine, for instance, that the mother ingests because of the smoking habit, no, could cause threat or risk to the unborn. In the same way, if the mother is a drunkard, no, a lasinggera, meron tayong condition na tinatawag na fetal alcoholic syndrome, no? To which there may be impairments to or damage to the brain of the unborn. So even while inside the womb, the lifestyle of the pregnant woman, no, would always have impact or effect on the health of the unborn. Okay? Now, irrespective of the developmental stages, no, there are critical or sensitive periods. So it's not only during prenatal, but even after prenatal stage, no, um, other stages may be considered as sensitive period, no. Babyhood, for instance, is very critical stage because it lays the foundation. This is what we call formative or foundational years, no? So in the same way, the prenatal stage is also a sensitive period, no, because there are susceptibilities. The unborn is susceptible to some influences, no, internal or external. Okay, so now, there are also instances where the pregnant woman may be suffering from diseases which could also affect the unborn. No? Like when the pregnant mother um, suffers from rubella or German measles. 'Di ba ito yung isa sa mga um, pinoprohibit ng mga OB-GYN na makontract nung buntis na nanay. Kung hangga't maaari ay hindi pwedeng during the pregnancy ay magka-measles yung nanay. No? As to why? Because basically this could lead to serious birth defects, no, in the developing embryo. And not only having implications on the physical, but as to the cognitive or mental development as well. Okay? There are also instances when what the mother eats could be contributory to some birth defects. Like we have what we call toxoplasmosis disease, no? So kung mahilig kayo ng kilawin, kung na-used kayo kumakain ng mga raw meat, no? Um, ang tendency ay it might also lead to serious birth defects, no? Especially if the parasite found in what you eat in the raw meat, for instance, no, would be transmitted to the embryo, particularly during the first trimester. So ang bottom line lang dyan ay it pays that you have to be watchful of what you ingest, what you take, and even of your lifestyle when you are pregnant. No? It also pays that you go for prenatal checkup because definitely it's your OB who would be advising you of what to eat and of what particular medicines or supplements, no, you should take uh, uh, in order to nourish the unborn. Okay? Now, ma'am, are there activities which I am prohibited to do if I am pregnant? Like say, for example, can I not have coitus? No? While your OB-GYN might advise that sexual activities, especially during the last trimester, can be reactivated, no? Just be cautious, no? Because possibilities are you might contract some sort of STDs, no? So syphilis, for example, no, is a sexually transmitted disease which may penetrate even the placenta and which consequently would cause miscarriages or even serious birth defects, no? So ang sinutukoy ko ay may mga OB-GYN na nagsasabi na, oh, malapit ka ng manak, pwede ka na ulit makipag-coitus para mas mabilis lumabas si baby, no? Pero ang sinasabi ko ay um, you just have to be very cautious, of course, making it sure that your partner your partner is not in any way suffering from some sort of what or a carrier of um, mga viruses which could be transmitted sexually. No? Otherwise, it might lead to serious birth defects. Okay? So that's for lesson 1. Now we move on to lesson 2. Lesson 2 would be more of physical and motor development dahil yung unit 2 nga ay biological, no? So kapag biological, ang reference natin ay physical, no? At motor at the same time. So kapag physical, yung katawan natin, ang reference natin is the body. Okay? So what are the changes in terms of the physical aspect, no, that you could observe? Okay? Very very quantifiable pag sa prenatal. Kasi makikita mo pa lang kapag ikaw ay ang tawag diyan, um, ano na kasi yon, nag-ultrasound, no? And even while you are pregnant, there are tests which your OB would require you to ensure that the fetus inside is really growing. No, makikita mo naman, imagine mo yung single cell, yung zygote. Ang zygote ay gatuldok lang, kasing laki ng tuldok, very minute. Tapos paglabas, after 9 months, makikita mo, di ba, yung nakakita naman na siguro kayo ng bagong ipinanganak na sanggol. Ganun na siya kalaki, ganun na kakumpleto. So, that itself is a proof of how miraculous life is. And even of the different physical changes or the growth, no, that are taking place during the prenatal stage. So, these physical changes are do not cease. I mean, don't stop, no, after birth. Although during infancy or during postnatal, no, tendencies are there could be decrease of, say for example, the weight of the newly born. So, pagkapanganak, ito yung kanyang weight, no? Sasabihin naman nila sa inyo 2.7 or 3 kilos, no? So, bakit kaya after a week? Bakit kaya ano siya? Kasi after ng birth, ng delivery, after a week, babalik ka pupunta ka ulit sa OB mo at saka sa pedia. Tapos ang unang gagawin nila is ikikilo ulit nila si baby. Bakit kaya bumaba, no? So, the very reason there is that, during infancy, ano ba yung infancy? Yung infancy, guys, is from the moment that the baby is born up to its second week. So, the first 2 weeks after birth. Okay, bakit kaya? Anong nangyari? Bakit bumaba yung kilo niya? Well, you just have to um, imagine the adjustments that the newly born has to experience. So from an internal environment, nasanay siya sa loob ng 9 na buwan, nasa loob siya. No? Kaiba ang temperatura sa loob sa temperatura sa labas. Sa loob din ay hindi pa siya marunong gumamit ng kanyang mouth. Kasi ang mode of nourishment niya nga ay through the umbilical cord, no? Pero paglabas, kailangan na niyang gamitin yung kanyang accessory or the part of the body which is for feeding, and that's the mouth. Sa loob, meron ng panakanakang functionality ng kanyang mga organs, pero hindi pa ganun ka fully functional. Unlike kapag lumabas na siya. Halimbawa, yung excretory organ, no? So sa loob, syempre hindi pa naman siya tumatae, no? Although may mga cases, ma'am, yung may mga nasobrahan ba ng araw na nakakatae na sila sa loob ng tiyan bago pa man sila lumabas, no? So, outside, that's one of the adjustments that the infant has to experience, no? So, excretion, no? Okay. So all of these actually are contributory as to why there are decrease of the infant's weight. No? But we try to look into what's the standard. O, hindi naman sa standard siguro. What's the typical or the approximation as to height, as to weight. No? So titingnan natin. Remember, nung nagdi-discuss tayo about the different principles of development, we made mention about variability, that when it comes to development, there is variability. Merong pagkakaiba ang bawat isa, no? So, maaaring depende sa genes, no? Or depende sa maternal nutrition nung pinagbubuntis, magaan lang siya, hindi siya ganun kabigat. No? So hindi niya na-reach yung um, yung threshold, for instance, when it comes to weight. So what does this mean? Does it mean, for instance, malnourishment? So what will I do? So pagkapanganak, meron tayong tinatawag na newborn screening. So tinitingnan na kung merong kailangang intervention. Law. So, tinitingnan na kung merong, ala, nag-off siya. Di ko alam kung, ay, shit. Ah? Mm. Ang mahirap niyan, di ko alam kung magsisave siya.